So this is the corner of Hamilton and Broadway. Broadway is the old Albany Post Road. We are in Tarrytown. There's Delina. And I am going to walk the route of Ichabod Crane's legendary ride away from the Headless Horseman. This site, the landmark condominium with the World War I statue, was the original location of the Van Tassel Tavern, which is locally considered to be where the Van Tassel farm was in the story. So I'm setting off. This is the same road that is in the story. This is the old Dutch church, the Reformed churches of the Tarrytowns. It's the same congregation as the old Dutch church, one of the longest congregations in New York. And there's stuffy guys everywhere. And this ancient ass post office. This is just a quick shot to show you how close we are to the Hudson River. So right here, or maybe less than a quarter of a mile from where we started, this is the Warner Library. It's beautiful on the inside. Right here, in this spot in the road, stood a gigantic tulip tree, or yellow poplar. It was killed by lightning in, I think, around 1830. It was known as Major Andre's tree. It's where he was captured. The road went around it on both sides since it was so huge. It is the first trial in Ichabod's nightly ride home, because the tree is haunted due to the taking of the unfortunate Andre, the British spy who had papers from West Point that he was delivering to the British from the traitor Benedict Arnold, where he was captured by 3 local militiamen close by. Here we are at Patriots Park. The brook that runs under the road through a culvert is known as Andre Brook, and the road has changed over the years. It's probably about 300 yards up the hill. Where the school is now is where there was a bridge, and that is where Ichabod first encountered the Headless Horseman. The brook now, rather than having a bridge over the road, runs under the road into a culvert, and then it comes out in the park, and that is the dividing line between Tarrytown and Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow used to be known as North Tarrytown until 1996, when they incorporated themselves as the village of Sleepy Hollow, because they had all of the goods and decided, hey, this is a good way to promote our village, and it's definitely one of the centers of Halloween in America now. John Paulding Elementary, and then Sleepy Hollow Middle and High School, home of the Horsemen. It's been about a quarter of a mile from Patriots Park. At this point in the story, Ichabod's horse was supposed to go up and to the right, but instead plunged down and to the left, right over there, towards the church. The Headless Horseman is everywhere in this town. And the decorations they do is just a matter of pride. So, this is the approach to the old Dutch church. To the left is Phillipsburg Manor. It's hard to see through the trees. And there's a mill pond. It's been there as long as the church. Currently closed due to COVID. So I was not able to go check it out. Where that car is crossing right there is the current bridge over the Pacantico River. At the time of the story, it actually crossed a little bit behind the church, so it would have gone where that gas station is and come up behind where it would have crossed near the graveyard too. Also note the statue of the horseman and Ichabod in flight. I think part of the reason why I love the story so much, besides it deeply disturbing me when I was really little, is the fact that it is so well grounded in place. That's what makes the story feel so authentic, and why it holds up even to this day. It's a fictional thing in a real place. Here's a much better shot of Phillipsburg Manor, with the bridge right across the street. So now I'm on the other side. And that's the Pacantico River. This is the start of the geological Sleepy Hollow. It's the valley on both sides of this little brook that goes up into the hills a couple miles. Despite what the sign says, it's not where the original bridge was. The original bridge was about 60 feet up and crossed behind the church. This is the second oldest church, I believe, in New York. 1697, I believe, and the oldest with the original congregation. And surrounding this church is the old Dutch burial ground. It's about 5 acres. Extremely old. Extremely old colonial burying ground. And then beyond that, for acres and acres and acres, is the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, which Washington Irving helped found. Carnegie is buried there, Rockefellers are buried there, and it's huge. It just stretches on and on up the west side of Sleepy Hollow. If you looked at our pictures we posted, where we're on the bridge in the woods, that is the Pacantico as well, in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. The original 5 acres stops on up the hill and then That's the start of Sleepy Hollow Cemetery proper, which is also on the National Historic Landmark, and just acres and acres and acres. It is the cemetery to end all cemeteries. And finally, here is where the horseman was said to tether his horse.